Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.
With the leagues coming to an end, you know what that means. It's the Europa League and the Champions League final. I'm Sarah Pereira. This is James Sharman. This is Room 442. And today it's all about the Europa League because tomorrow at Puskas Arena, it will be Roma versus Sevilla. James, it is the most winningest club in the tournament versus the most winningest manager in Europe. Jose Mourinho has never lost a European final.
Amazing, right?
Here you go. Porto twice with the Europa League and the Champions League. Then, of course, Inter in 2010. No one will ever forget that. United against Ajax when we all thought it was Ajax's to win their Europa League. And then, just last year, Roma with the Conference League. And that's what led to that horrendous tattoo that he has, of course. But, I mean, he has
He's got the deft touch, as they say, right? That Porto-Monaco final, when it already began for him, I mean,
he was a baby.
It seems like it was just yesterday in so many regards, but it wasn't. I mean, I don't know if you were even born back then, Sarah. It was a long time ago. But imagine Porto and Monaco making a Champions League final these days. It was incredible what he did. Mm-hmm. And what a great team that was. And the iconic knee-sliding celebrations. You know, the special one was born the next year when he went to Chelsea, right? And the rest is history. But he knows how to get it done in one-off finals. He's proven that, which is why, you know, Spurs fired him before a final, which to this day makes no sense to me whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They could have got their, you know, solitary trophy had they kept him aboard. But yeah, he knows how to get it done. He'll kill off games. And that's what we'll try to do against Sevilla. But listen, as you mentioned there, Sevilla just absolutely bossing this tournament in recent years, 6 championships. And for this one, I mean, it's a must-win, right, for both teams, because the winner gets the Champions League, and neither team's qualifying for the Champions League domestically. Yeah. So there's a lot on this game. I'm looking forward to it.
No, me as well. Let's look into Sevilla a bit, though. Since Mendilibar has come in as their coach, remember, Sevilla have had 3 coaches as well this season. Chelsea, you're not the only one. But he's only had 2 losses in 16 wins across all competition. Sevilla were in the relegation zone, James, and now they're in 11th, which, 11th for Sevilla overall is not good. But considering they were in the relegation zone, now mid-table sitting pretty. And like you said, in a final of a European Championship, the Sky really turned this team around.
I don't know what happened there, though, right? I mean, even last year, they're a pretty good team, you know, Champions League contending team in domestic league play. But yeah, he's got it done, right, with some old familiar faces as well. I mean, Ivan Rakitic remains pulling the strings in that midfield. I mean, what a career he's had. You know, obviously someone that you watched pretty closely at Barcelona for many years. What a player. Still pulling the strings there. Jesus Navas.
Incredible.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Right? Again, solid performer, really important. And lesser known perhaps than Alex Telles, who was going to be the next left back for Manchester United. You know, it's still a good team that know to win big games. But yeah, like you said, it's been a really poor domestic season. And both teams entering this in poor form as well. Yeah. Neither team's won since their semi-final. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot of head-scratching going on, I think, at both clubs right now. But listen, if they close out this season, one of them with the Europa League, that's all right.
Could it be the Argentine connection at Sevilla? Because the more I've been watching Sevilla closely through the years, they've been just gathering Argentinian players. Shall I remind you, Marcus Acuna, Papu Gomez, Gonzalo Montiel, Ocampos, back in the day, Eric Lamela. Half the starters are from Argentina.
Yeah, but Acuna's missing for this one, suspended, right? Which is huge, because he's been so important, played pretty much every game. But yeah, that Argentine connection, it's this kind of halcyon days for Argentine football right now, isn't it? Yeah. I think you see a lot of those players move as well to bigger clubs this off-season as well. But they got that collective, it seems, in the Cup tournament. But why they couldn't get it done domestically, sitting 11th in the table, I don't know. It's one of those weird ones. But I'm sure they'll bounce back next year.
I think it might have been just Lopetegui leaving kind of abruptly in October, you know, right at the beginning of the season, more or less. And then they had Sampaoli, who we all know very well, the Chilean little man who is, you know, incredible as a coach, but also I think very could be dramatic, over the top. Sometimes
Yeah,
that doesn't.
a volatile manager, right?
Sure. So it doesn't always work with clubs. And I'm wondering, when he came in, they were just struggling more and more and more. He wasn't able to do it. But I'm curious to see if it was just the fact that they never really found like a connection with the two managers they had, one leaving and then the other one just not fitting in well. So
yeah, it's a good point. And then Roma have stuck with Mourinho. Obviously got them a trophy last year, Conference League, whatever that is. But I do wonder, what do you think about Mourinho? Do you think if he wins this, he leaves? Because he's right now talking about how much he reveres and loves Rome, loves this club, he's part of it, the fans, the people. And when Jose Mourinho starts doing that, usually it's because he's got a couple of eyeballs somewhere else.
I mean,
right?
If he was able to leave Inter in 2010... he can leave Roma right now.
Yeah.
There was nothing like that club. The scenes where he's outside the stadium after just sobbing. Like, we know what that team meant to him.
Yeah. And he also knew the cameras were on him.
Yeah.
The Materazzi, remember the Materazzi video? You know, they're talking post-match and they're both crying. And at the end, all Mourinho goes, call me.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
He knew they were on him, right? So expect some more dramatics. Tomorrow from Jose Mourinho.
Sure. He never fails to not entertain us. But I do think if he wins, more so than even if he loses, if he wins, that's like, I've done it. Perfect. I'm out.
Time to move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he back, do you think? I mean, he was somewhat tarnished, I think, after United and Spurs in particular.
Spurs.
Has he rebuilt it? I mean, it's Europa League. You ask him, he's a Champions League manager.
Yeah.
It's interesting. If they do win, then he's got Champions League football next year. Does that convince him to stay?
Yeah, that could be. Or he just goes to a Champions League club. I mean,
I don't know.
The whole PSG situation, we don't know what's going on. It seems like there's a lot. I mean, Mbappe's now saying he's staying. He's in. He's 100% in, whatever that means. Because
this week.
This week,
decides
exactly.
Next week, something else.
But apparently Galtier's on his way out. We know it seems like Messi and Neymar are on their way out. So I don't know. That team, he could potentially bring in some guys he wants, but I don't know, Mourinho at PSG would just be bananas.
It would be great. It would be the best.
It would be a
theater.
show.
Oh, we want that, don't we? Let's be honest. The one guy you want at that club, I think, is Mourinho. Because he wouldn't take it from the ownership and from the players. The players wouldn't be bigger than the club. I'd love to see Mbappe operate under a Jose Mourinho coach team. Because he doesn't allow big-time Charlies, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And Mbappe's earned that right to be a big-time Charlie. He's the best player in world football. I get all that, but imagine him going head-to-head with Mourinho, a defensive-minded coach as well. I mean, listen, there's been strikers who've been very successful under Jose Mourinho, but we know how he plays football, right? He doesn't concede goals. I think in the last 3 or 4, in all the knockout games in the Europa League, hasn't conceded 1 goal in the away games.
It's crazy.
He can shut teams down, but
yeah.
But here we are, and who's taken over the narrative of this game? Jose Mourinho.
There you go. So
once again, he owns it.
Are you looking to this game tomorrow, are you backing Roma? What's your prediction? The odds are, I think, it's a pick 'em. It's like 175 plus 180. It's
so
very,
tight.
very close.
I mean, Dybala's back from a knee injury, right, for Roma, and that's really key. He's been really good this year. 16 goals, 8 assists, in limited action. You can't bet against Jose. I'm going to go down that line. It's going to be it may not be a classic.
Yeah.
A narrow win, but I'm going to take Roma for their second trophy in 2 years.
There you go. Well, of course, I have to go against you, naturally.
I appreciate
it. But do you know what I think? Since Sevilla beat Manchester United in the way that they did it, this team has banded together, and I feel that they can just accomplish anything. Will this game be easy against Roma? No. Roma's going to frustrate them. I could see this going into extra time. I can see this going into penalties.
Yeah.
And listen, these guys know how to take penalties, I will say. So I'm going to back them also based on that, because I could see a 0-0, 120 minutes, no problem.
100%, yeah. And then, like you said, it's a Sevilla's tournament.
Yeah.
They've won it 6 times. Could be number 7. It won't be a piece of work, a piece of art, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Whoever wins this game, whether it's Roma or Sevilla, history will be made. So that's the Europa League final. Sevilla, Roma, Puskas Arena, 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.